Hare Krishna. The the different opinions between the Smarta Brahmins and the Vaishnavas who worship Jagannath, and the opinion between such Smartas and the Vaishnavas are expressed. This is in concern to Jagannath's Mahaprasadam. So we know by now in all the things within the world, the Smarta, the non-devotional ritualism, and Paramartha transcendental. The Paramartha, the transcendental are the two classifications of interest. There are two sections of people, the Smartas and the Paramarthis. The Smartas, they believe in the ritualistic way, but that is a non devotional. And the Paramarthis, they are transcendental based faith they have, but again, there are categories in that. Not all could be transcendental. Some make a show that they are Paramarthis, and some go on carrying in the darkness and they never become transcendental. So, all these variations are there. Now, there are different types of differences also observed in all kind of conclusion and actions. Such interests and conclusions are differentiated according to the influence of qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, this kind of thing has been observed. This kind of difference in interest and conclusion in relation to the Mahaprasad. At the time when the foremost scholar was in the Kshetra, the foremost of that time, I'm not taking his name. He was residing in the Shri Kshetra, Purushottam Shri Kshetra, Shri Purushottam Kshetra. He also had doubts about the Mahaprasad, although he was regarded as the greatest of Pandits. Now, in Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrit, we see that by the mercy of Sriman Mahaprabhu, his mind crossed beyond the modes of passion and ignorance and attained the qualification of pure bhakti. Then he maintained no doubts about Mahaprasad. In the presence of Sri Mahaprabhu, of good conduct should eat such food remnants and should not hesitate by thinking about rules of time and place. So the scripture is supposed to be the authority giving us the understanding about how to conduct in the material world where there is no direction, no guide, no torch, no light. So the scriptures come to help, and one reads it, and then one puts his faith, and if there's no one there to help him, then he goes by the scripture. He reads it daily, believing, and conducts his life in the mode of goodness. That also helps to a certain extent, in that he is not agitated by the disturbances outside. Because outside, when we read the news or see anything, there are very disturbing pictures of anger, fight, and greed. But when he reads in the house, sitting in the house, and when he has no job there, why should he go and interfere? So he sits in the house, he reads such scriptures, and he feels nice, and he has some understanding of um, the worship of object of worship, it be Vishnu or Ram or anything. So this is the way. So that devotee, that Pandit of that time, was the greatest in the world of Smartas and among the Mayavadi Pandits at that time. In spite of this, he himself has taught the world in such a way that by his word and character, no person of good conduct should ever speak ill against Mahaprasad. However, without good fortune, the skepticism of the Jiva does not go away. And so, even after this, skeptics continue to have many debates concerning Mahaprasad. Having more knowledge than that Pandit is not the cause for this. The Mahabharat points out the cause for this kind of misfortune. In Mahabharata, it is said, Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmane Vaishnave, Swalpa Punya Vatam Rajan, Vishwasanaiva Jayate. This is a shloka from the Mahabharata. So he says, O king, for those who have very little punya, very little good deeds, their faith in Mahaprasad Govind, the transcendental name, and the Vaishnavas is never manifest. So this shloka is from the Mahabharata. So this is a prayer, that Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan. So, because of the less faith in Mahaprasad, the transcendental name, and Vaishnavas, their faith in these three things, these four things, never manifest. So, even during the time when the Smartha Pandits were arguing about Mahaprasad, they used to say that it is obligatory to honor Mahaprasad in the temple. Some would say it is mandatory to honor Prasad 5 kroshas outside the temple, approximately 10 miles. Some said that the Mahaprasad is always touched by Shudras and hence it should be honored, not be honored inside or outside the temple. So, all such misfortunes have befallen this class of pandits who have this kind of notion towards Mahaprasad. We saw now in an unfavorable conclusion in the last, we have no regrets about all such, in the last few days, whatever is going on about the Prasad controversy in the latest times. We are seeing that the laddu is containing the animal fat in the ghee, so who will eat that? The laddu was so famous once upon a time, people would die. If you are going there, please get me that laddu when you come back, the laddu prasadam. And they would appreciate it that it is given in so much generosity. So big laddu, the hand size. And you must definitely bring it for me. So whenever anybody went to that temple in the south of India, they would get that laddu and then eat it with much great appreciation for it. All the friends would sit and appreciate and eat. That they are so liberal and generous in giving that big sized laddu. So it was the way, like that was the perception of the time. But we saw what the controversy is these days, and I will at least not eat that laddu because the place where there is a controversy about Mahaprasad, that place can never give any good to anyone. It is the fact. If there is a controversy about prasadam in the temple area, then you cannot eat the prasadam at all. It will not bring you any spiritual benefit because Mahaprasad is something, or prasadam, it is something that has to pacify even the most hungry, even if he is not in your circle, and he must be fed properly. That is the way of devotion, the 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 the, the thing that is explained as per the Vaishnava. But in giving them Mahaprasad, you are discriminating, you are having fights among yourself. So what consciousness goes in that prasad? That is another thing to ponder upon. And so, prasad is the thing that is supposed to give you bhakti. So, prasad means what? When we eat, it is yagya, the digestive fire. We are putting that remnants of the Lord. Hmm? So, what shape it is going to take? So, yagya, there are many yagyas done and all that. So, what are we putting? We are putting the pure ghee in that, some grains in the yagya. So, when we eat daily, what are we doing? The cooked grains we are feeding ourselves, isn't it? There is a Shraddha Paksha which is just recently over. So what do? They make cooked rice balls as pinda, and they feed the ancestors. And it is this proper way, scientific way, and it is also the scriptural way. It is the religion that is to feed the ancestors. If they are anywhere, it must reach them. So what are we giving them in the Shraddha Paksha? It is a thing to ponder. It has to be made with good mindset, cool mind, calm mind, and in a happy mood. And not that there is a fight in the place where it is being cooked, and there is people are all fighting over it, and they are, I will cook, all such things. This is not going to satisfy anyone. Forget about the Lord. Why will he ever get satisfied? So is it prasadam? That is the way we must ask. And in places where we have no experience, um, we do not know those people. How can you accept a prasadam? So even if that laddu controversy was not there, but do you know any devotee there? Is there any devotee at all in the temple that you know? You don't know them. Then how can you accept prasad? Prasad is to be accepted from a devotee who has good favor for you, who has good perception about you, and who is your well wisher. You can take prasad from only such person, not just from anyone. So, for that matter, if you have a nice guru who is caring for you, and if he gives prasad, then you must definitely take from him. But cannot take prasadam just from anyone and everyone. It will be a karma and not anything for spiritual progress. So this is so much scientific thing about the prasadam, and it is the fact. The whatever you eat, your mind becomes like that. So if you are eating in some wrong places, then you have to suffer the karma about that, and it's a long process. It goes on for a long time. So you should never eat free of cost by from anyone, especially those people whose tendency might not be good for you, and they might not be your well wishers, or they are always backbiting, gossiping, and jealous about you. So such people are envious. So such people you cannot take anything from there. So, if you have to speak about glories of Mahaprasadam, then you should know that Mahaprasad is only for people who adore Lord. His, if at all there is any devotee of that Lord in the earth, in the vicinity, who is your well wisher, not just he is a devotee. He should be related to you. You should be visiting him. He should be visiting you. He should be your well wisher. Only from such person you can take prasad. Otherwise, you cannot take prasad from anyone other than such people. So this is the glory. When you speak of glory of Mahaprasadam, it is not for the common people. It is only for the one who has tasted that mercy of the Lord. The glory of the Mahaprasadam is only for individual. It cannot be spoken in public. What is glory of Mahaprasadam? Only the one who has tasted that prasadam, and there is a change in his thought process. He has become more, like he has become more good person than before, or he understands the value of goodness, and he understands that goodness is not something that can just be spoken of and attributed to any and every person. Every person is unique in himself, and the goodness will vary to certain extent, but goodness in itself is a quality, and you must value such qualities. Otherwise, there are many people who will take disadvantage of this, and they will try to pressurize the real good people and make them just worthless in the eye of public. These tendencies are there and will be there all the time, and just because we have to progress, we don't see such things, but we cannot forgive such things. What is wrong is wrong, what is right is right. So when it comes to Mahaprasadam, eating food, then many people eat on the street. They don't know, poor people, that eating the street food on the street is very, very dangerous for their health in the first place. So street food must be avoided. And prasadam, the glory of the prasadam or the mahima, it is only for one who has tasted the prasadam, not for anyone and everyone. So the prasadam of Jagannath Dev, it should not be. They used to say they should not be taken 10 miles out of Puri. Now, so in order to support the conclusion, this Pandit has given some verse from as an evidence from the Shastra, and this verses are big, um, 10 shlokas are there. From it is from some Utkal Khanda. पञ्चक्रोशम् इदं क्षेत्रं समुद्रान्तरव्यवस्थितं त्रिक्रोशं तीर्थराजस्य ततभूमौ सुनिर्मितं सुवर्णबालुकाकिरणां नीलापर्वतशोभितं विष्णुलयगतां तद्वि निर्मयं पतितादय स्पृशन्त्यानं न दुष्टं तद यथा विष्णुस्तथैव तत् व्रतास्था विधवा तत्र सर्वे वर्णाश्रमास्तथा ततः ततः प्राशनेन पुरस्ते दीक्षिताश्चाग्निहोत्रिणा स्वदेश्या प्ररदेश्य वा सर्वे तत्र समामता चिरास्थाम् अपि शुष्कं नितं वा दूरदेशत यथा तथोपयुक्तं तत् सर्वपापप्रणोदनम्. This land, Puri, which is 10 miles in circumference, stretches into the sea. 6 miles of it is on the Tirtharaj, surrounded by golden sand and beautified by blue mountain. That prasadam which is present in this abode of Vishnu does not become contaminated even if it is touched by one who is fallen. It is of the same nature of Vishnu itself. Widows who perform austerities, for people of varnas and ashramas, those who are qualified to perform agnihotra sacrifices, those from this country or foreigners, they are considered equal. Even if one attains it and is stale, dry, or it has come from distant land, whatever the case, it can eradicate all papa. This says so. So they have that rice which is dried, so that cooked rice they dry it and they store it. So any people who couldn't visit earlier, they get that prasadam. So this is the shlokas glorifying the prasada according to that pandit. Now, it should be eaten even if it is touched by the lips of dog. They are saying so. Kukurasya mukha drashtam. But this is not the way. Many innocent people get, this kind of preaching. In preaching also, people use such shlokas, and this goes to the innocent people, and they have faith in the wrong things, and they never come up in spiritual, like they never get a spiritual advance. Now here is a line which says kukurasya mukhad brashtam. It should be eaten even if it has touched by the lips of dog. Now what a dog eats, why would you eat? Prabhupada, there's this Acharya Prabhupada of ISKCON. He says that he introduced this Annadan Seva because he saw some beggars who were fighting, who were searching for food in the temple, in the area close to the temple, and there were dogs who were eating, and these people were also eating from that same, that leaf, the serving leaf. So the dog was also eating, and they were actually sorting out, and the dog came and ate, and they it started eating, and they were also taking away from their own portion from that leftovers. So this kind of scene, this Acharya Prabhupada of ISKCON, he saw, and he was pained to see the sight, and that is why then he said that no one will go hungry within the so much radius of miles from that place. So then they have introduced this paddhati, this system of distributing prasadam freely. And anyone and everyone who comes, they get that prasadam, and that is the way. So, but the this line, it should be eaten even if it has been touched by the lips of the dog. This is not agreeable. Innocent people suffer a lot with this. While preaching, these preachers, they make such slogans, and halfway it goes or comes to somebody's ear, and the demoniac group then makes them believe in that line, and they have heard something wrong, so they believe in that, and they are taken advantage of, and they are never ever helped to rise in the life. So what is the use of such a preaching when your words are impacting certain people in such a rubbish way? So this is the plight in then again, uh, in the different branch of the scripture, it is said, "O best of the brahmanas, the city of Purushottam on the shore of saltwater ocean is more difficult to attain even than Swarga. All those who enter this place achieve a form like that of Vishnu. Those who have any doubt should need not be concerned about this. Even if the food there has been touched by Chandar, it should be accepted by higher persons, since that food is not different from Vishnu himself. Chanda is considered to be like a Brahman." So this is another surprising thing. So in this conclusion, that Pandit had collected evidence only from two scriptures, Utkal Khanda of Skanda Puran and the Kriya Yogsar of the Padma Puran. It seems that he did not have the opportunity to see what is said about Mahaprasad of Jagannath Dev in other Shastra. It is a pity that the conclusion of the respected Pandit is seen to be a fault due to his lack of proper investigation. Again, his conclusion is not based upon the evidence he has given. The only evidence he has given is that Shri Purushottam Kshetra has 10-mile radius. The temple of Bhagavan is within the 10-mile radius, and it's the duty of people to accept his remnants and prasad. There's no discrimination concerning Varna. There's nothing saying that one should only honor prasadam in the temple or within the 10-mile radius or outside the temple 10-mile radius. Nitam va duradeshata. These words mean that one should honor prasad in the temple or some distance from the temple. We are astonished by Pandit Mahashay's erudition because what he has quoted, he says, Chirastham api samshuksham Ditam va dura deshata. Even if one attains it and is stale, dry, or it has come from a distant land. Considering the proper explanation of these words, it is understood that honoring prasad is an injunction for the whole world. There is no word pravishyantas to tat kshetram. The word tatra in the second part of the line cannot only refer to the place kshetra. The word tatra should be understood to be referring to the subject of Sri Mahaprasad. Along with Chandalena P. Samsprastam. The word tatra is found twice in the shloka. This tatra that specifically refers to the place. However, we see no words prohibiting taking Mahaprasad outside the confines of Puri. This is found in the verse Nadesha Niyamas Tatra, quoted by Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. Thus, intelligent persons will never welcome Vidyaratna, this Pandit's conclusion concerning Mahaprasad. If all the Smarta Pandits make such a conclusion, then so be it. Then that will not harm Mahaprasad. Since ancient times, the dry Mahaprasad has been carried far and wide to the west. Okay, so it has been carried to the west. The dry prasadam is carried uh, since to the west, and no objection in the smartas per they here it is said that, and there is no uh, it has been honored and accepted by the pandits there. The conclusion in the shastra of the Parmarthik Panditas is accepted throughout the Parmarthik world. Thus, these two conclusions of the Smartha and Parmartha are found everywhere. We have no objection or problem if the Smarthas wish to persist with their conclusion. Both communities have had two different opinions concerning Sri Hari Vasar from the time immemorial. Sri Hari Vasar, that is Ekadashi. Our last word now. Here I'm just reading the write up as it is. So our last word is Vidyaratna, that the Pandits community accept his conclusion. He never expected the Paramarthikas to be included in his community. The point is that such conclusion need not be seen in public, published in a newspaper. Is there any necessity to cause a dispute between Smartha Paramartha communities? Anyway, it must be said that this is the age of Kali. By causing useless concerning Mahaprada debates concerning Mahaprasad, by arranging for the slaughter of monkeys in the temple of Sri Purushottam and defecating in the temple vicinity, this has become a leela for some people who only wish to bother the devotees. So, this dispute concerning the Mahaprasad was published by the acharyas in the previous times. So the dispute concerning Mahaprasad was there that time also. So this will go in a cyclic fashion. It will keep coming resurfacing, but it is for us to understand the importance of eating at the right places. You cannot take prasadam from the hands of people who have bad tendencies, and their tendency is not to serve the Lord but to dominate the poor people who will be fed with the prasadam, so that they become their slaves and keep coming to them as slaves and not get a chance to grow in the path of, yes, devotion. Hare Krishna.